Before we get into the video, I just want to let you guys know that about 1 in every 4 of my viewers are subscribed, and my goal is to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button as my mouse scrotter runs around me like a madman. It helps to notify you every time I upload a video, as well as getting my content pushed out to a wider audience. Regardless, that's enough self-promotion from me. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's get right into it.
What's up, Chicos? We got WPF week number 2 coming at you. We're going up against Indomitable Will and the San Antonio Sparce, I think it is. You'll see the matchup on the screen right about now. Now, Will's team was actually rated the highest in the little power rankings that the WPF did. Now, of course, that's all subjective, but obviously you see that top 4, and that's just crazy. The fact that you're able to get those 4 and still have a legitimate team. He did make a few changes towards the bottom of his draft after week 1, even though I'm pretty sure he won like 4-0 or 5-0 in week 1. Free Terra Iron Moth is going to be a problem. I really like any sort of fast ghost combined with a fighting type. It's really kind of hard to deal with, so Spectre Urshifu, big threats, and then of course Baxcalibur can do a few things. Blastoise can shell smash, but it could also just be like a pivot kind of supportive set with spin. It's tough because you really have to prep for those top 4, but that doesn't mean Will has to bring all 4. So, you know, we could just bring things that are absolutely useless. It's not like we have a choice. He can spike stack with either Gliscor or Klefki. Either we lose very quickly or we win after, you know, being able to, I guess, switch into his threats, which I think we actually might be able to do. Let's get right into the team that I'm bringing. So first up, we have Booster Energy Screamtail with sub CM dual stab. Now, this is pretty much max speed and just max special attack. Basically, the plan is to kind of scare out an Urshifu or a Baxcalibur or an Iron Moth, have him bring in the Klefki, and then, you know, we set up a substitute on that so they can't go for Prankster Thunderwave the turn after, and then we Calm Mind. Once we're at +1 special defense, Flash Cannon should not be breaking our sub. I just figured that this is actually a pretty decent set. You know, because I'm base 111 speed, I do outspeed Iron Moth even if he's booster speed. Like I said, it's a very offensive team, so if we can, you know, survive a few turns and get a few boosts up, that's going to be really good for us. This is either a late game sweeper or just something to kind of do some damage mid game. Really just kind of depends on, you know, how the game's going. Next up, we have Global Warming Yikes, the Hisuian Avalugg, Terra Fairy again, just physically defensive. We've got Recover, Body Press, Rapid Spin, and Mountain Gale. Now, since Screamtail doesn't have Wish this week, I feel more inclined to have Recover on this set. If I'm Terra Fairy, I really just sit in front of Baxcalibur and Urshifu. I also threaten both of those Pokemon with Body Press, so that's really good. I do have the Rapid Spin in case he is spike stacking with either Klefki or Gliscor. Obviously, Gliscor probably doesn't want to stay in on me. I have other options for Klefki, so this isn't really what I switch in to try to Rapid Spin. If I'm able to get a Rapid Spin off, then that's great, but mainly it's just here to switch into his big physical attacking threats. Hopefully, Eelektross is more of a physical set. I had Stealth Rocks on this Pokemon initially, but I figured Mountain Gale is nicer to have here, like I said, just to hit that incoming Spectre or Gliscor. Next up, we have Manaphy with the leftovers. We are Take Heart, Surf, Alluring Voice, and Acid Armor. So another little setup Pokemon here. We have max HP, 40 EVs in physical defense, 80 in special attack, and 140 in speed with a timid nature. We are, of course, speed creeping an Urshifu that's speed creeping Toxicroak. The 80 EVs in special attack are basically to ensure we can OHKO a max HP Urshifu after Stealth Rocks. So that's what that's for. And then the rest is in physical defense just to take Wicked Blows a little bit better. So yeah, if you don't know what Take Heart does, it's like Calm Mind, but it also relieves you of status. So if Klefki wants to Thunder Wave, I don't really care. As long as I do not get fully paralyzed, I can just heal myself with that. Same with like a Toxic Gliscor. I figured Surf is better over Scald because I don't really need burns against this team. I'm clicking Alluring Voice against Urshifu and Baxcalibur anyway, and nothing else on this team I really need to burn. So next up, we got Checkmate, the Kingambit. I love the shiny. It's very blue. And so we have Lumberry pretty much there for Spectre or Will-O-Wisp. I do expect him to run a potential Colberberry Spectre with like Will-O-Wisp to try to burn me. So Klefki can't Thunder Wave me. I can pretty much always switch into Klefki here. And if he's trying to get up screens, we can Brick Break and kind of break those, which is great. Stealth Rocks is obviously nice because it is able to do residual damage to everything. Its only hazard removal is going to be Blastoise. If I'm in against Spectre, I'm almost always just going to click Kowtow Cleave because I don't need to Sucker Punch because of the Will-O-Wisp potential. Now we have a pinch of speed investment here so that we can try to break the speed tie against Eelektross. That would be pretty cool. We're actually EV'd to be able to take I think it's a modest Fiery Dance from an Iron Moth from full. I mean, it's either that or timid because we have max HP and 176 EVs in special defense. I figure I don't really need the attack investment as much here because it's more of a supportive, can gambit to switch into Klefki, get up rocks, brick break the screens away, stuff like that. Next up is Caraxes, the Dragapult. Now we're just choice specs here with Shadow Ball, Dragon Pulse, Draco, and U-Turn. I think offensively this thing puts in a lot of work. We are 160 EVs into speed with the timid nature, and then max special attack and 96 into HP. This will always outspeed Spectrier. Just Shadow Ball plus any type of Dragon Stab is really good. His only Dragon switch-in is going to be Klefki to resist that, barring a whatever Terra type he is with Iron Moth or Electros. And his only Shadow Ball switch-in, again, barring the Terras, is going to be Urshifu, which doesn't have the best special defense to begin with. So I figure Dragapult, just running a spec set, getting it against certain things like a Gliscor or an Iron Moth or a Spectrier, as long as it's not Scarfed, is just going to help us to, just do some big damage to things. Last but not least, we got Sparce with the leftovers, Toxic Roost, Body Slam, and Shadow Ball with Serene Grace. Now, initially I had Glare and Boom Burst, but I figured it's just a little bit better to have Toxic plus Body Slam there. I want to be able to paralyze certain things like the Iron Moth, like the potential Urshifu switch in, like the Gliscor if it doesn't have its Toxicor pop. But I also want to be able to Toxic certain things, like the Spectre if it's trying to set up on me, or the Urshifu, or the Blastoise, or the Electros. And also Body Slam does more to Iron Moth because it has a lower physical defense stat. And this Pokemon's mainly just here for the Iron Moth. I am max HP with 216 EVs in special defense, and then the rest into special attack. So the EVs are specifically tailored there to live 2+1 modest fiery dances from Iron Moth, I believe. Of course, Roost is just for longevity, and yeah, that's the set. So that's the team. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the video right here, and I'll see you guys in battle. All right, Postcom Spider, back at it. We see that we're up against Willow, aka Will, and the San Antonio Sparce. Now, you can see my opponent does not bring Spectrier, Grotle, or Gliscor. And no Gliscor means I don't really have to lead Avalugg, but I do anyway, just because I want to get the Terra off. Now, I did change my Sparce set. I changed it to Boom Burst and Glare instead of Body Slam and Toxic. Of course, good luck, have fun, to Will. And this battle, we DC'd a few times, so we had to kind of recreate a few things. So if it looks weird, it is weird. The first DC I just kind of cut out of the video, and then here we're going to see us DC a little bit. This was kind of our first recreation, or our second recreation, because, well, you're going to see. I don't have to over-explain it. So I'm going to speed up the video here. I go straight into the Dunsparce, seeing Iron Moth, and it is booster speed, so that's cool. He's going to go ahead and Terra, and in the first battle, the one that DC'd, he did not get a boost. So then we had to recreate, and he did get a boost. So then we had to restart because it's kind of important that he didn't get a boost on that first one, so that I can just Glare. He does stay in and click Toxic Spikes. I'm not surprised. So I do have a spinner, which is nice, but yeah, still something to keep in the back of our minds because I don't have any boots on anything on this team. So he's paralyzed, but because he's booster speed, he's still going to outspeed us here. And to be honest, even if he wasn't booster speed, he might outspeed us. So he's going to go ahead and Fiery Dance here. He does get the boost there. It's about a 3-8 KO with Boom Burst. Body Slam would do more, but again, it's not a guarantee that I get the para off. So I'd rather just have that there for certain. We're going to Roost here and get a lot of our health back. The fact is, if he keeps spamming Fire Dance, yes, he has a chance to get a boost, but he also has the chance to get fully paralyzed. So no boost there means, the Dunsparce is going to be able to live the next one and knock him out. If he had got a boost there, that would have been a little unfortunate. So because he probably knocks me out with the next one. Anyway, he gets fully paralyzed the next turn, and that's pretty important here because I'm able to save a lot of health on my Dunsparce. Because there's no Spectre here, I don't really need to keep this thing around for all that much, and no Gliscor, so I don't have to, I'm not going to be glaring that Pokemon. So I look at my team, I'm like, all right, I'm sitting pretty with a few things. I can just come in and Rapid Spin with Avalugg after the Dunsparce goes down, so I'm fine to just stay in. He clicks Wicked Blow, and it doesn't knock me out, just barely, so I'm able to get a Boom Burst off and do about half of his health, which is clutch as hell. So obviously now, we could technically swap, but we're not going to. Urshifu's going to take us out there. But having that extra damage on Urshifu is really, really cool. Obviously, who's expecting me to swap into like a Dragapult, right? But that didn't happen. So we're going to go ahead and go right into Avalugg, like I said, and just get that Terra off and Rapid Spin. Seeing the Baxcalibur as well as the Avalugg seeing Baxcalibur and Urshifu makes Avalugg very important here. So we are going to get poisoned here, unfortunately, but we do get the spin off, so Toxic Spikes are not going to be a thing anymore. So he brings in Electros, and I'm thinking, he definitely doesn't click Drain Punch here. He might click Volt Switch or U-Turn. He might click Knockoff. I was kind of expecting Knockoff, which is why I went into King Gambit, as that is exactly what he clicks here. And, again, this is all sped up because this is the first rendition, and here we're going to see the disconnect, which is very frustrating. I don't really go through disconnects all that much, so it's not fun, trust me. And it kind of like messes with your I don't know, because I'm impatient with that kind of thing, just because that's how I am. Maybe that's not good, but I don't know. It makes me antsy. Puts me on edge, I guess. So of course that's no excuse to make bad plays, but anyway, for the recreation. He really wanted the Avalugg poison. I offered to just not Boom Burst his Urshifu, and we can go into the battle 5-5. But he wanted he was fine with he wanted the poison on Avalugg. So I'm like, all right, just get your Toxic Spikes up, or your 1, and then damage to Dunsparce, and we can just as long as the Dunsparce is in 2 KO range of the Wicked Blow, we should be fine. So he's gonna Gleam, which is gonna do a good chunk. In fact, I'm kind of glad I got a crit there, because I don't know if I take... I'd have to Roost the next turn, which just would have been annoying, because I don't know if I take a Wicked Blow afterwards, if he Gleams again. So I'm going to Boom Burst, and he's going to Wicked Blow. We're going to go through the same song and dance that we did last time, and luckily, we do not disconnect again. So, in a few turns here, we're going to actually get into the battle, which is cool. Basically, that damage from Urshifu tells me he's likely Jolly, but he could also be Adamant if it was a low roll. So Urshifu's going to go ahead and swap here. Obviously, I do my little Terra, whatever you call it. I do my real life animation there. We're going to take 12%. Now that's important, the Toxic Spikes. I imagine my opponent thought that was important because of the sturdy, but also that it's nice to chip Avalugg down. The thing is, nothing on his team directly really threatens Avalugg, except for maybe Blastoise if it's offensive. So even with the poison, I still like Avalugg's situation. So that knockoff damage tells me that the Electros has no attack investment. So that's something to keep in mind for later. For sure. So he's going to Super Fang. It's going to take me to about half health. I was really hoping I didn't see a Drain Punch there, but I didn't also expect Drain Punch if you have no attack investment. It didn't make much sense in my head. So he's going to go ahead and swap into Klefki. I kind of want to go for a Rock Saturn, but you'll see that it really doesn't matter. We're going to get to the same outcome anyway. So we're going to do about 25-30% to the Klefki, and we're going to Spikes here. Or he's going to Spikes, and I'm going to Stealth Rocks. I could have probably sped up this part, but something you'll probably notice is that Will is someone who makes his decisions very quickly, and that might be just a result of DCing a lot or whatever it may be. But there aren't many situations where I'm clicking my move first. Usually when I'm clicking my move, we're getting into the turn. So that was just something I noticed while editing. I don't know, that maybe that's just his playstyle. It also works well with the fact that his team is very offensive, so that's usually how he's going to play the team. So he's go for Spikes. I'm fine with this because I can still spin with Avalugg on a few things on his team. So we're going to spam Brick Break just because I don't want him to get a screen up. And here I think I just click Kowtow. Yeah, I just click Kowtow. I probably should have just clicked Brick Break again. I should have clicked Sucker Punch, but on the off chance he did have screens there, we didn't really know any of his other moves, so I think it made sense to click Brick Break there. But alas, he's going to go into Stoice here, and I'm just going to kowtow. I don't want to risk this thing having shell. I mean, if it has Shell Smash, it still is able to get that off just fine, but luckily he just clicks Surf, and I actually live. Obviously, I'm very surprised by that. I didn't expect to live that. That is not a very strong Blastoise. So I'm going to Sucker here, which is kind of sad because you'll see, I mean, I do decent damage. I chunk this thing under half. He clicks Rapid Spin, gets rid of my rocks. I completely forgot about that. I didn't even remember I got the rocks up, I'm going to be honest. So I could have clicked Kowtow again into a Sucker Punch, but I mean, how are you going to know that would have happened? So I'm going to Sucker, and now he is in Torrent range. This is important information. Torrent is an ability that all water starters get. It boosts your water type attacks when you're in critical range, which is 20% or lower. He is in the red, so he is under 20%. I calc it. I know that this is a non-invested Blastoise. It is not offensive. It does about 50% to me with Surf, and he knocks me out. I'm waiting to see crit, and I'm like, no, and then you see I realize Torrent. I say it there. Completely forgot about Torrent. So I think even if I live that, it's probably the wrong play to just sacrifice Avalugg to get spikes off the field. Yeah, it's 3 layers of spikes, is a lot of damage, but as you see that, like, this game from here on out, it's very punch for punch. So I don't really know if I would be swapping a lot anyway. I mean, maybe I do with Avalugg against her Shifu and backs, but I don't know. I just go into Dragapult. That would have been a good opportunity to go into Manaphy, because I know his set now. Use Rapid Spin, Flip Turn, Surf, and Ice Beam. Would have been a great opportunity to go into Manaphy and just click Take Heart and get a boost up. But I figured I didn't want to risk him having Yawn and then just it being for naught. I didn't, obviously Scarfed or Shifu is going to take out Dragapult there. I didn't really have a switch in there anyway. Now here I go Manaphy, because I figure Screamtail is my best chance, or my best option to late game sweep here, if that's possible. So I'm just going to go to Manaphy, do as much damage to things as I can. Obviously he's going to outspeed me here, but I do have a decent amount of investment here, so I'm going to be able to live that and knock him out with Alluring Voice. I guess I could have clicked Surf just in case he brought in Eel, but anyway, he goes into backs now. So this Pokemon can obviously set up on me, and I actually, for some reason, I speed crept or Shifu speed creeping a Toxicroak, but if his Bax Caliber was max speed Jolly, he would have actually outsped me, so I didn't really think about that. But he's not. He's obviously adamant, or he's just not max speed. I don't know. He's going to go for Dragon Dance. Now that kind of sucks, because if he had outsped me, I would have got the confusion off on him with the Alluring Voice, which would have been pretty cool. But he's going to go for Earthquake there. Obviously, he doesn't want to risk, go for Glaive Rush and, have him take double damage from any attack the next turn. So, smart play there, as we're going to bring out Wink, get our booster speed, so we will outspeed this Bax. Because, we'll both be a +1 speed. But it's not looking good, because damage calcs are telling me that I'm likely not going to knock. I need like an absolute max roll to knock him out here. So it's just not looking likely. But I'm going to click it anyway, because I figure he's probably like loaded Dice Icicle Spear, in which case at +1, that plus an Ice Shard knocks me out anyway. So I don't knock him out. He goes for Earthquake, brings me down to about just under 20%. I was expecting to see Ice Shard here, but he doesn't have it. So I'm going to knock out the Bax. So now it's a 1v1, and he goes into Electros. Now, we know from the damage on King Gambit that it has no physical attack investment. So I calc it, Thunder Punch. None of his physical attacks are going to knock me out here unless he has Wild Charge, which I just don't see it having Wild Charge in this situation. It's like a bulky Pokemon, so I'm not clicking Dazzling Gleam because it's probably Assault Vest. Psyshock will do more, but Psyshock to a max HP Electros does 32% maximum, and I don't think that's worth risking here. If anything, that's like 32% or 35%. I don't know. I mean, I don't have the little bars, so I can't tell for certain. But it's looking like Psyshock doesn't knock him out. So my only real play here is to click Calm Mind, because if he is special, if he's mixed, right? No attack investment tells me he might just have Thunderbolt. And if I get up to +1, I have a chance to live that, and then I can just knock him out with Psyshock next turn. Thing is, a lot of things could go wrong here. He could just have Wild Charge and knock me out. He could paralyze me with Thunderbolt. I don't know. It's just very risky to Calm Mind, but it's even riskier to just lose the game on clicking Psyshock there. So I click Calm Mind. This is really my only hope. And yeah, gonna get the boosts. He's going to go for Thunderbolt. Calc says I should be able to live this with no investment, and I do. I live on 4 HP, which is like essentially 1%. So I click Psyshock and I knock him out. This is probably the most animated you're gonna see me. I get up, I do my little thing. I mean, that was very close. That was about as close as you could get. GG's to Will for sure. Yeah, I think throwing the Avalugg definitely made this closer than it had to be, but you know, at the end of the day, I did not expect to win. This isn't really a game I think I should have won after that Avalugg play, but it is what it is. We're gonna take the win. We're 1-0. And yeah, that's gonna be it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.